Lead me from college all the way up to getting into real estate.
Yeah, so ended up graduating college with just a business communications degree. Again, I always felt that, hey, I just need that. When we went to college, I feel like it was way more prominent to say, hey, you have to have a college education if you want to be successful. And today, you get kids out of high school that can run a six-figure business through YouTube. They don't
Yeah.
need that education, so they're more self-taught. So I knew I needed that, so I got that. Went into sales, so I went into an inside sales job outside Bell Fountain, and loved what I did. Didn't really love being in the office. I always tell people, my manager at the time would always kind of heckle me to say, get back at your cubicle. You're always out talking to everybody. But again, that's who I was, and in all
Yeah.
those relationships that I would be building, I'd get my work done, I'd hit my sales quotas, but that's just my personality. I did that for about a year and a half, and then a company approached me for an outside sales position that would get me to Columbus. So, me and my wife were living in Ada at the time. She was my fiance then. She was teaching in Findlay, and we knew we always wanted to live in Columbus. So when I had that opportunity to kind of jump ship and go to the outside sales world, it kind of met two of our needs. Hey, I get outside sales, and we get to move to Columbus. So we kind of just leaped and moved up to Columbus and did that for about 10 or 11 months, and then my leap into real estate. Tammy Oakley is a great agent in the Marysville area with Coldwell Banker. She's a family friend of my wife's family, and just happened to be at a family cookout and chewed her ear off for 2 hours about real estate. I didn't even have it on my radar. I kind of was always like, I like seeing HGTV shows,
Yeah.
but never really thought, hey, I should go be a realtor. And then I talked to her for 2 hours, and I'm like, man, this sounds interesting. I feel like I could do that. That seems like fun. And I always remember, she's like, if you ever decide that you want to move forward, let me know. I'll help you kind of figure out what classes you need and kind of give you all that information. Well, I went out and found that on my own, did everything. And then I remember I called her like 4 months later, and I'm like, hey, Tammy, my last in-person class is next week. Can I connect with you? Because I need someone to sponsor me for the exam.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
I chatted with her and then ended up joining the Coldwell Banker office in Dublin first off.
So you really didn't have any interest or anything along those lines in real estate until that conversation?
I always saw real estate. I thought it was interesting. I liked the TV shows, but never was like, hey, I should go be a realtor.
Yeah.
Never really crossed my mind. I think it was just because I was in the thick of things of, outside sales and doing that, and just didn't really kind of come across my mind, but I'm glad it did.
Was there I'm just curious, was there any one thing within that conversation that really piqued your interest and said, yeah, I should pursue this?
I think it was just the natural conversation with her of, no day is the same, but you also get to run your business. So I kind of took that, hey, Smoothie King mantra, entrepreneur, I could run my business. Every day is going to be different. And I've always liked that, have a little bit of
Yeah.
ADD. I like to have a lot of things on my plate. So fits me perfectly.
No, that's awesome. It's funny just, how sometimes agents just, figure out or find a way to get into the business. Sometimes it's, their experience buying a home was so great that they wanted to do it, or sometimes it was so
Right.
terrible that they're like, if they could do it, I can do it. And for you, it was a conversation, that really piqued your interest. And I'm curious, at the time when you were outside sales, were you like 100% commission, or was it kind of like a salary plus a bonus? Because
Yeah. So that,
making that leap of faith is a challenge at times for a lot of people.
yeah. So it's interesting. And I tell a lot of new agents this. So I was at that outside sales position. I was salary plus commissions, and it was in an industry that I really didn't understand. As far as I never had any prior experience. I kind of couldn't turn down the money aspect opportunity of what it was giving me, and super thankful for that opportunity. But it was just kind of in a field that I was trying to learn that first year. And then
Yeah.
when I had the real estate opportunity, I wasn't going to be able to continue that while taking the classes. So for me, and thankfully my wife, at that time we didn't have any kids, so I think our expenses were much less obviously than what they are now. So I was able to quit and go into my classes. But while taking my classes, I actually door knocked for WoW Cable, and so happy of that experience because I door knocked for like 5 or 6 months. And I don't know. I just think it does something for people understand that door knock. I mean, it's a struggle. You deal with a
Yeah.
lot of interesting people that they don't want you on their doorstep, but it's kind of
Yeah.
breaking that barrier when you're there, and it's giving you that. I think it really helped me when I first got into real estate, because when I got into real estate, I was able to go full time, but I had that experience of like I know what it's like to door knock,
Yeah.
and just fight through those battles.
Now, did you do WoW Cable just because it provided that flexibility to do the real estate classes and to bring a little bit of income coming in?
Yes, yeah. So I had a family friend, one of my brother's really good friends does it. He actually still does it today, not for a while, but him and his dad have door knocked for like 15 years, and they just crush it.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. Hey, there's people, look, I always tell people, you know, real estate's just a contact sport. I don't care how it happens, and there's hundreds of ways to go and find success in this business. And there's people out there that still door knock and crush it to this day. I personally don't know how, but it wouldn't work for me. But I think,
Right,
the reason why I ask is, I talk to a lot of agents and they want to be successful in this business. I ask them, what sacrifices are you willing to make? And like for you, it was, hey, I gotta, leave this job that, I had a salary position at, and willing to, let's just say maybe take a step backwards to be able to spring forward into something that I want to do. Having that conversation with your wife, I mean, diving into going into real estate and going from this salary position, with commission to straight up 100% commission. What was that conversation like? What was that like? Because that's a tough. You said you didn't have any kids and it was just you 2 at the time, but
yeah.
it's still a hard conversation to have.
It was. I mean, she was a part of the whole conversation. I mean, and she's, bless her heart, fully supported me. We were newly married. We had just got married like 2 months prior when I decided to take my real estate classes. And it's funny, we look back on it today. Her stepdad. I remember one time she came back and she's like, he couldn't believe that you don't get paid every 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I don't get paid unless I make a sale. And like, obviously, looking out for their daughter, they weren't the most happy, but they look back now and it paid off, right?
You're like, "Hey, I locked you down now. Oh, by the way, big career change coming."
Yeah, no, but
Um,
she fully supported me, and she still, she always says, "Hey, I knew you would be successful at it, and it was either now or never." Because again, we didn't have any kids, so it was a perfect opportunity at our point in life to either dive in or figure it out.